especially in investigation of them. Does your experience and expertise pretty much coincide with his? Yes, I have purchased more drugs undercover than the detective, but our experience basically goes along the same lines. And are you familiar with the Colombian operation with cocaine? Fairly familiar. Have you studied it, made any special effort to become an expert in this field? Well, you basically become an expert by osmosis, talking to fellow officers and talking to informants and arrestees and different other experts in the field of narcotics. You just become well versed in it. You know what their operation is like just from working as a police officer arresting people. Some of them talk to you, right? Yes. And then sometimes you have your informants and they tell you what is happening. True? Was that a question? I thought it was a statement. No, it was a question. Yes. Do you know the confidential, reliable informant in this case, number one? I am going to object. This is beyond the scope, and the court has already ruled on the issue of the informant, and the privilege has been asserted. It is certainly beyond the scope of this witness. It is beyond the scope. What would be your line of questioning here? Well, if he knows the informant and talked to him, I think I am entitled to know if the informant knew my client, ever mentioned my client's name, or if the officers went and investigated further after they got the name of Mr. Garcia. You know, before they arrested him, maybe they did a little further investigation. Well, I, first of all, don't know the relevancy of that information at this time because I ruled that the motion to quash has not been granted, has been denied. As to the search of anyone, I am not considering information from any informant. I am only considering the information based on what these witnesses have seen or testified to. So I am not sure of the relevancy at this time. Well, the relevancy is you have to make up your mind whether my client's being taken into custody was legal or illegal, and whether it was a detention, a de facto arrest, which was carried on too long without probable cause, and that would any subsequent warrant be a product of his illegal arrest, and it would be an illegal search of your client's arrest, right? Well, you can ask this witness if any informants ever pointed this person out to him, or anything like that if you want to, but I am not going to allow inquiry at this time into these informants unless there is some additional showing, because I feel you can trace it. Well, the showing is if this informant, Your Honor, says he is involved in the smuggling operation. I mean, if he doesn't know my client, it is more likely to indicate that any association with the other defendants in this case was innocent on his part. Your Honor, if I could save some time, we have already had the line of inquiry when Detective Harden was on the stand and Mr. Cooper asked and was specifically told his client's name was not mentioned. Nobody pointed at his client. That is in evidence. I guess he wants to ask that of this witness. I mean, we have got more than one, and I am objecting. It is beyond the scope. He can call them as his own witness, I assume. I will object. It is cumulative. He has already asked the question. I don't see that, sir, because he wants to ask the same questions of a different officer. Now, are you objecting to those? I will have to wait for the question. I can't object yet, Your Honor. All right. Do you want me to restate the question, Your Honor? Yes. Were you acquainted with the confidential, reliable informant number one in this case? Your Honor, I am going to object. What is the grounds? No, I won't. I withdraw that objection. All right.